Ah, I see you're looking down in there, right? Not good. Hey, you got a gas tank like this? 1985 Honda Sabre gas tank. It's got some rust in it. Maybe it's sending particles through your fuel pumps and your carburetors and stalling you somewhere. It's common, man. It's really common. When you've been dealing with old motorcycles like I have for as long as I have, rust is going to develop in here. You know, nobody's always got the heated garages and blah, blah, blah. So what I use is a very basic, simple concoction. I take 30% vinegar and I mix it with some ammonia, a little bit of ammonia and a whole bunch of water. And I use this gel stuff, this Rust-Oleum gel. I don't always use Rust-Oleum, but I'm trying this one. This is the one thing I'm not sure if it's going to work, but it's a gel. I just take the lid off, pour it down in there. Now, the hard part, the part that most people don't like, including myself, is once you get all that in there, you literally got to pick a 5-gallon tank up and you got to start sloshing this thing around for hours at times, you know? I don't do it continuously for hours, but I will get to it several times in an afternoon. And then all I do is look down in there and say, all right, it's starting to etch. I can see that rust is dissolving. I'm starting to see real metal underneath that rust. And I got to get it up here on the top because tops rust too. Now that, oof, whoa, that's vinegar. Whoa, that smells. Put some hair on your chest right there, boy. So I'm telling you, you got to do that. Why? Because I can't afford more tanks, right? It's the truth. I can put $30 worth of stuff in here. A lot of guys will drop nuts and bolts and stuff down in here. And when they shake it, it acts as an aggregate, right? It's supposed to sort of sand that rust off. I've had lousy luck. I've seen guys use marbles. I don't have any marbles. I would have tried marbles if I had any. But a lot of guys, you can't get them out because when you put your filler in, there's a lip under there. Then it comes back up. So you get the nuts and bolts right up to the hole when you're upside down and you can't get them out of there. It's a real pain. If this doesn't work, I will resort to that because this tank has a fuel gauge. This is the fuel gauge. Spilling stuff all over the place. I may have to pull that fuel gauge out of there eventually, but right now I don't want it leaking everywhere. So I'm going to leave that fuel gauge in there as long as I can. Now I did have this tank on a bike and the fuel gauge wasn't reading. Could be electronic. It could be the fuel gauge itself. If you look at this one, I pulled this one out of another 85 Honda motorcycle and it is just, I mean, yeah, it still moves, but oh my God, this thing came out in like 10 different pieces, right? The electronics still may be good, but there's a gasket on here that goes up into the tank and that it was all gone. So this is junk, but that's what they look like. Oh, so when it's in the tank, that means you're out of gas. And based on ohms, it'll read there's a half a tank and there's a full tank, right? That's how these things work. May have to pull this one out. I haven't even looked to see if you can even get those anymore, but it's not the end of the world if I can't. So to do something on the budget, let me show you what I'm using. $20, Rust-Oleum. Less than $10, 30% vinegar. Ammonia, probably less than $5. And I used this on another tank and I had maybe a quarter left. I just filled it up with water. And that's all I use. And I slosh it around and I check it. Now if the
Oh yeah, night and day.
I check it. Now, if the tank is really, really, really bad, which I have one that Luce and I are working on over here, oof, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It may be gone. I don't know if I can get it cleaned up. Once all that's done, here's the whole reason I'm doing all this. I need to line the tank. This is tank liner. This is Red Coat tank liner. And it's what I specifically use. Been using this for close to 20 years. I don't know how. Right now, I think I counted a little bit ago. I think I have 12 tanks laying around here that I've done this with, including this one. And I haven't even done it yet. This is a liquid. It's really thick. It's very lava-ish. You pour it down in there. Once everything's cleaned out and dried, you gotta let it dry. And I use a heat gun down in there sometimes, just to make sure it's nice and dry. Not in it, but on the outside of it. It evaporates all that excess water. Pour this in here and you gotta start the sloshing process around, but it's really slow. And after about a half an hour, you notice that it starts to slow down. You don't wanna put it all in there. You put enough in there just to coat the tank. So it's what I've used for years. The downside of it is it turns your fuel red. It's interesting that the fuel turns red. That stuff is actually red. And what it does is it stains the fuel once it gets in there. So it's happened to me the very first time, scared me. I was like, oh, what happened to my fuel? But the truth is, man, if I take this lid off, oof, that's year-old fuel in here that came out of the tricycle. I don't know if you can see it on the table in there, the red, white, and blue tricycle. This fuel was in there for a year. I think I could still burn. Wow, it just gave me a head rush. Maybe I'll have another hit of that, you know. Just kidding. Once this thing's lined, it's got to dry for a couple days before I put fuel in it. And then I saved myself a $300 fuel tank. And that's what it's all about. Spending $30, $40 to make a concoction to eat that rust just to save $300. Now, if you got all the money in the world, go buy 100 tanks. I don't give a shit, and do whatever you want to do. But I'm not capable of doing that. And I'm hoping those of you that get into old bikes and do things like that, hopefully you'll come up with your own concoction and send me your recipe. If yours is better than mine, I want to use it. Until next time.